going to study SD 46.6, that is the Sankita Desita Dhamma Sutta, the discourse on the Dhamma taught in brief, A 8.63, Anguttara, the Book of Aids, Sutta number 63. The theme of this sutta is the disciples' training in brief. Now, although the teaching is given in brief, it's quite sufficient for us to follow, especially if we are already learning some kind of meditation. It's a very simple sutta. It's telling us how to combine our practice in such a way that we will progress very well, especially, even as a lay person, and especially as a renunciant, a monk or a nun. The protagonist of the sutta is a certain monk, so we don't really know, no name is given, we do not know who he is. So here again we see the teaching is given the place of priority, the most important position. In other words, the practice. So this, the sutta starts with this monk coming to the Buddha requesting for a short teaching. That's how we get the title. Originating in Savatthi. Now a certain monk approached the Blessed One, saluted him, and sat down at one side. And sitting thus at one side, the monk said this to the Blessed One: "It would be good, Bhante, if the Blessed One were to teach me Dharma in brief. Having heard the Dharma from the Blessed One, I would dwell alone, aloof, diligent, exertive, and resolute." It is the famous stock passage, stock phrase, or stock sentence where someone intends to go into solitary retreat to meditate. And if you have been following the suttas regularly, you will know that as a rule, at the end of the sutta, this person becomes an arahat. And in between, you see the interesting story how the progress of the disciple is. Here there is a surprise. The Buddha almost chides this monk, if you like. The Buddha says, "It is just in this way that some hollow persons beseech me. But when the Dharma has been spoken, they think they should still follow me around." Okay, so the Buddha is basically saying, are you sure you want to do this? Or are you just coming here, ask me this question, and then, just think about it, and you don't practice it, and you still just follow me around? There is another sutta which actually related to this same statement. It's called the Anubbada Bhikkhu Sutta, S 47.3. There you have another very interesting development which you can read up or look for the taping and listen to it. So here, the Buddha, in a sense, the Buddha is trying to find out, is this person really serious? Is he really committed to what he has said? So the certain monk replies, "May the Blessed One, Bhante, teach me the Dharma in brief. May the Welcome One, Sukata, teach me the Dharma in brief." Right? So he's quite sincere. Second time he requests. Then second time he adds this certain monk adds another sentence. He says, "Perhaps I would know the meaning of the Blessed One's word. Perhaps I would be an heir to the Blessed One's word." Right? So he's quite serious as well. Teach me the Dharma. I will become an heir to the Dharma. In other words, he's hinting, I will progress, be awakened, and so on. So then the Buddha is quite convinced. Buddha says, "In that case, Bhikshu, you should train yourself thus." So once you hear this line, that means the training is coming. So here, the thesis or the main idea is given next. "In that case, Bhikshu, you should train yourself thus. My mind will indeed remain well settled internally." Right, so this is the kind of like aspiration this monk is told to make. No bad unwholesome states that have arisen will remain overwhelming my mind. Thus we will train ourselves. Right? So that is the basic beginning and opening instruction. Then comes the complete teaching in meditation. Basically, the structure here is the Buddha teaches this monk to practice the 4 Brahma Viharas, the 4 divine abodes up to jhana, and then go into the 4 Satipatthanas, and then from there progress to higher attainments. So next the Buddha says, when bhikshu, your mind remains internally well settled, so that no bad unwholesome states that have arisen will remain overwhelming your mind, then bhikshu, you should train yourself thus. So here in other words, the Buddha is saying, first prepare yourself, calm yourself down, try to clear your mind of thoughts. Then next, the first practice is cultivation of loving kindness. That is in the passage section 3. When bhikshu 2.2, through the cultivation of loving kindness, the liberation of mind will be cultivated, grown, made a vehicle, made a basis, practiced, consolidated, well engaged. In simple terms, direct your mind, keep your mind towards or cultivate this loving kindness. Thus, bhikshus, you should train yourself. When you, bhikshu, have cultivated and grown this samadhi thus, then you, bhikshu, should cultivate this samadhi with initial application, with sustained application. Right, so here we know this refers to the first jhana. So this is a short form, if you like, of the mention of first jhana. Should cultivate this samadhi without initial application, with only sustained application. So now comes something interesting. So there are 2 aspects. Here in the sutta, this is called first dhyana, first jhana. So here, the meditator, this certain monk is told, develop this first jhana. So you have initial application, sustained application, you have zest, joy, and this kind of single-mindedness, kind of samadhi, when all the 5 hindrances are gone. So that's traditionally the first jhana. But here the Buddha says, okay, now you let go of the first jhana factor, in other words, initial application. Let go of all thoughts, in other words, except just keeping your mind already directed to whatever is going on. You don't have to keep on doing it. It's already there, so to speak. There's still some subtle thoughts, if you like, when I'm speaking. So there are 2 aspects here. There's initial application, then you let go of initial application. This is vitakka. Okay. Now this is where the Abhidhamma tradition split the first jhana into 2. So the first jhana has got all the 5 jhana factors. The second jhana is minus vitakka, so that's number 2, and the rest 3 are the same. So you get, this is the 5 jhana method of the Abhidhamma. So this is the sutta from which the Abhidhamma tradition got their 5 dhyana system. Then the Buddha continues, it says, you should cultivate this samadhi without initial application, without sustained application. So in this case, both the first 2 jhana factors are all let go of. In other words, now the monk has reached second jhana, and you should cultivate this samadhi with zest. So here, zest is mentioned. So in other words, zest arises in the second jhana too. So this is a very interesting way of talking about jhana, not the usual way that we see in other suttas where there's a long stop passage. So that's the second jhana. Then the Buddha goes on to the third jhana. He says you should cultivate this samadhi zest-free. So let go of zest, let go of piti. You should cultivate the samadhi attained by comfort. Okay. Now we know very well in this jhana there is piti, sukha, right? There is zest and joy or happiness. But here the word uses comfort. In Pali it is satta. Now sukha and comfort actually, sukha and piti, satta, comfort, and sukha, they actually mean the same thing here. So here comfort means body and mind are at peace. Body and mind are at peace. So instead of using the word sukha, the word satta is used, S-A with the long A, T-A, satta. So this is where whenever we study the suttas, it's good to know some basic structure, the key words, and then you find the passage, the teaching is actually following quite a set pattern already found in the other suttas. So here, attended by comfort means accompanied by sukha, accompanied by joy. This joy is a calmer form of kind of inner bliss, if you like, where zest is quite exuberant, if you like, quite powerful, so to speak. So sukha is a gentler form of it. Then finally the fourth dhyana, you should cultivate this samadhi attended by equanimity. So the mind is totally calm and peaceful, very still. So this is the cultivation of loving kindness. Then the Buddha continues. When bhikshu, your mind is cultivated, well cultivated, then bhikshu, you should train yourself. Thus, through the cultivation of compassion, the liberation of mind will be cultivated, grown, made a vehicle, made a basis, practice, consolidated, well engaged. Thus, bhikshu, you should train yourself. And then the whole passage on the four jhanas repeat. Okay? In other words, the monk is still first to attain first jhana, there is initial application, then slowly let go of vitaka, right? That's still first jhana, and then let go of both, you cultivate zest, and then you have let go of zest, there is comfort, there is sukha, or satta in this sutta. That is the third jhana, and then the fourth jhana, let go of all the other factors, it's only this single-mindedness, this ekaggata, equanimity. So that's cultivation of compassion. Then the Buddha goes on to the third divine abode. When bhikshu, this samadhi has been cultivated, well cultivated by you, then you should train yourself thus. I'm reading section 7 now. So through the cultivation of gladness, mudita, the liberation of mind. When you see the word liberation of mind, it means up to jhana level. Will be cultivated, grown, made a vehicle, made a basis, practice, consolidated, well engaged. Right? Notice the terms here. Cultivated, that means your mind is fully occupied, filled with this state, gladness. And it is a vehicle for what? For inner peace, for going further, for progressing towards awakening. Thus you should train yourself. And then the Buddha teaches this certain monk how to get into the four jhanas, as mentioned before, using the 5 jhana factors. Then finally the fourth divine abode, equanimity. So here again the Buddha says, alright, now you're ready, you go on, cultivate equanimity in the same way. So when you're focusing your equanimity, you go on to build up the jhanas step by step. Stage 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 jhanas. So this completes the practice of the 4 divine abodes. Then the Buddha continues, this time he goes on to the 4 focuses of mindfulness, Satipatthana, section 11. When Bhikshu, the samadhi has been cultivated, well cultivated by you, then you should train yourself thus. I will dwell exertive, clearly aware, mindful, observing or contemplating the body in the body, removing covetousness and displeasure or discontent in regard to the world, letting go all kind of distractions from the senses. When we meditate, we are actually, in reality, practicing renunciation. Renunciation means true renunciation. Spiritual renunciation means letting go of the world, letting go of the senses, at least for a while. And you attain jhana, and from there you build up the clarity of your mind until you attain various stages of the path and sainthood. So then the Buddha continues and say, thus Bhikshu, you should train yourself, and when you have attained this kind of focus, this kind of samadhi, then you go on, again the same 4 jhana instructions are given. So here we see that instruction repeated, in other words, same with 5 jhana factors, step by step, build them up. So here, by now we should have a good idea how the Buddha teaches meditation. First, clear the mind, be peaceful, and practice the 4 divine abodes, practice loving kindness up to the 4 jhanas, and then compassion up to the 4 jhanas, and then gladness up to the 4 jhanas, finally equanimity to the 4 jhanas. When the mind is clearly happy and peaceful, then you go on to cultivate the 4 focuses of mindfulness. This is one way of practice. But this is not the only way, but this is one way which is taught to the certain monk. Then, second focus on mindfulness. When Bhikshu, the samadhi has been cultivated, well cultivated, when you have mastered this, then you go on to the next practice. I will dwell exertive, clearly aware, mindful, observing feelings in the feeling. Right? Watching whatever arises to the feelings. Removing covetousness and displeasure, discontent in regard to the world. So the idea is to be totally focused until jhana is attained, and then comes the passage on the 4 jhanas again. First, attain the first jhana with all the 5 jhana factors, then let go of first one, initial application. Is this still the first jhana according to the sutta reckoning? And then let go of the sustained application, where you have zest, it is the second jhana. Then let go of zest, you have sukha, that's the third jhana. And then finally let go of even this comfort or sukha, you have equanimity. And when you've done that, you're ready to go on to the third focus of mindfulness, that is observing the mind in the mind, watching all those what's called mind objects, phenomena, realities that arise in the mind just as they are. And do that until you attain, you're able to direct your mind to the 4 jhanas. So, the mind in the mind is watching thoughts, okay? Then after that, when you have mastered that stage, go on to watching the dharmas in the dharmas, that is phenomena and mind objects, okay? So just to correct a bit. So the 4 satipatthanas have been practiced here. So notice the sequence here. We base ourselves on the foundation of the 4 Brahmaviharas. Why? To be happy and joyful. And using that platform, we're going to practice the 4 satipatthanas. all of this up to level of jhana. Okay. Then the Buddha tells the benefit of this kind of approach. So the Buddha says, well, if you practice in this way, you attain all the 4 jhanas. The benefits are given in section 19. When you, bhikshu, have thus cultivated this samadhi, then you, bhikshu, wherever you walk, you will walk with ease. Wherever you stand, you will stand with ease. Wherever you sit, you will sit with ease. Wherever you lie down, you will lie down with ease, with comfort, happiness, joy. Elsewhere, in the Samadhi Bhavan Sutta, for example, A4.41, the Buddha actually says that his meditation gives him great happiness. So every moment of his life is happy. And so that he lives in what's called a pleasant dwelling in this very life itself. To live happily in this life itself is to practice jhana. The benefit of jhana is to give happiness in this life itself. Even our effort to attain jhana, but we may not attain jhana, but we have some level of peace, you can also feel the joy and peace there. So this is, in other words, learning to let go of the world, especially when we don't need that kind of engagement. It's not that we dislike people, it's not that we hate society, not at all. The idea is we don't want to be overwhelmed by such things. Then we feel very good and happy when we engage with people. It is real engagement, not the amount, but the quality, in other words. Then the Buddha has finished giving his teaching, and when the Blessed One had given this advice, the monk rose from his seat, saluted the Blessed One, and keeping rightwise departed. Then that monk, dwelling alone, aloof, diligent, exertive, and resolute, in no long time at all, right here and now, having realized it for himself through direct knowledge, attained and dwell in the supreme goal of the holy life, for the sake of which sons of family rightly go forth from the household life into homelessness. He directly knew birth is destroyed, the holy life has been lived, done what is to be done. There is no more of this state of being, and that monk became one of the arahats. Right? So any monk can be that monk. So here, even a layman can practice this. Even if you do not attain arahathood, you can still work towards streamlining or one's return. So now let us close with a short reflection. Whenever we have the opportunity, we should spend time with ourselves, just being at peace, so that we calm ourselves and feel that space within us. And you find yourself spiritually energized as you do this. It's like you are just letting go of the world for a while, putting down the burden, so that you have a good rest. And then when you emerge from that rest, you engage with the world again with greater happiness and joy to benefit more people. Reflecting in this way is very good mental karma. By this good karma, may we be blessed with courage and wisdom to aspire to attain at least stream winning in this life. In this moment of peace, may we be well and happy, and meet with joyful and wholesome success in all that we do. And may we be blessed with health and wisdom. And also let us send our loving kindness to those who have been kind to us, people we love and care for. May they be well and happy too. And also those who are seeking the Dharma, who have difficulties with the Dharma, they too may see the Dharma and be happy in this life itself. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.